Okay, Fambulem, we are live. This na the Then and Now Media Empire, and this is Psycho John Barry. They come to una this nature today, as una be they see the flyer they go around, and then we get a big personality with Winaya, but he will come introduce himself. As una all know, we can always talk about national issues. We bring uh, politicians, activists for can discuss issues about Sierra Leone. So, but una stay tuned. Una not forget for share the links to as many people as una can. Stay tuned.
There's more people in Apollo.
Okay, Fambulem, as like I've been talked earlier on. So we guest today, but he will come introduce yourself. Introduce yourself, sir.
Yeah. Good evening, listeners and viewers. Mina Amara Kalon, the minister where President Biojos appoints for be in charge of the Ministry of Public Administration and Political Affairs inside the government as alone.
Okay, thank you very much. And then we go one follow you go a bit deeper about your personality. Who done this Amara Kalon? Boku people
Okay, yeah.
Boku
Amara
people
Kalon
don't know you.
Amara Kalon come out from Kabbalah, Kwenadogo district. And my papa come out from Kwenadogo, my mama come out from Falaba district, more specifically. My papa come out from Karkoso Krala by Badimbaya, while my mama come out from Dankawali inside Kamadogo Iraya. I go school, RC school, Kabbalah, attend St. Francis na Makeni, come back na Kabbalah Secondary School. But inside Kwenadogo and Kabbalah, then sabi me more for my scouting business, Scouter Kalon, and then sabi me for and we also focus them, Bremer Lakaden, Tila them, Bilo Jalo, Nabdugulia, even the Seiko, the talk so, now all those scouting, Kabbalah. And from there, I left there now, I go college, Nanjala University. I do boku course them for agriculture. And from there, I work for a Ministry of Agriculture. I work for Boko organizations then, but mostly people in Sabi me for my scout business. So I don't be deputy minister of Political and Public Affairs in 2018, where President Bio appoint me. This new appointment back, he don't appoint me as the Minister of Public Administration and Political Affairs. So for short, I think I the person this.
Okay, thank you so much. And Fambulem, like una all don yeri, this Honorable Amara Kalon, na the new minister for the Public Administration and Political Affairs. Of course, they among the young ministers we then appoint, because una don't see I'm a very young man. And again, like you tell una now, of course, now we commander in they tell when they do scouting na Kabbalah. Yeah, that was Kwenadogo district by then. So tell me a bit about your ministry.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Barry. When the war began at this country, the president then, Ahmed Tijan Kaba, may so rest in peace, we see and say from 1967 where we get independence, lot of coup they don't take place, they don't change government. Then Jackson Smith, General Lansanade, and many people they make coup in this country, and then they change government. We get Sheikh Stephen Wakam, he ruled for 27 years. Coup then they when come Momo come. After Momo, we get the war. So what the war come, we fought the war Till we get NPRC, then come AFRC, then come all man till we can get the peace talk and the sale can inside democracy. But the country, salute people at that time not be understanding a democracy at all. So then we see the need for let them form one new ministry where for make many for take the people then through this democracy and also try for teach them what it mean for be somebody who then born inside Sierra Leone, what then called civic education. So now then we form this ministry, what then called Ministry of Political and Public Affairs. But over years, then we don't depend this. So last this election, the president be see and say we get big problem. One big problem we then call public administration. The people who then they work for the government, we for make sure say the law them, the things that we government do then do and for let the people them better. We get problem with them people then. When normally people then call them civil servants. We also get what they call public servant. We don't have civil servant then. Civil servant then are people then we government they take. We not to politicians then. We they not the vote for them. But our job though then they call them for let them can then work in different places them for let them make sure say then deliver to the things that we government want for let the people then get. Public servants can be people then we na people then we government where the people they elect, then vote for them, or the government appoint them for let them work on side them for make sure they themselves get and go before. Some again then can employ them, then the teacher them. You get the nurses then, where you get the soldier them, you get the police them, you get the fire force them, then are public servants and the civil servant, they get the permanent secretary them. You get them directors them, you get them other sweeper them, cleaner them, where then they work at the different offices in this country. The president BC see a lot of problem there. One of the problem now that when then they take people them, they not they try for know whether them people are then qualify or not. Number two, some of them they take them because of politics. So then can inside, they not agree do the work with them for do because they go say, me na politics na face make inside. Now that sabi, na make a be this person not to what you sabi. Some way can inside, not agree work. Some way can inside, where then they inside for let them promoter, not to what you sabi. Now Uda sabi and then they make them promoter. So a lot of problem we don't reach a point now. This country, IQ face any kind of things, any development, they go before because then people are away for do this work. They're not the Greece do the work. Some man not gonna work in place. Some man not even care what thing they happen. Some man they give problems. So the president say and say if we want for let go before, then we need for make sure say we do certain things then we for make them people are then work well and deliver for the people them. So why then at the public administration? The public side, the political aspect of it has to do with for make sure because the war there, but who thinks the way don't happen at this country, like the war will become one of the reasons where they write in a paper, what they call the Truth and Reconciliation Report, then say people and them they give them work in this country because now that's happy there. So man because uncle na director, now then the promoter then get a job. So now they make other people then the vex. Then they say, hey, now they no more than Sabi, now they give work, now they no more than Sabi, now they promote. So man vex, you go take gun, you go na war, you go na bush, you go fight. So that may face some political problems. So for solve them political problem, then I made the president say, for let we reform that particular area and the civil service and the public service so that peace go there, national cohesion go there. People then go believe say, forget working at the country, not for be politician. Forget for make them promote you. No need for sabi posse. You just need for do your work well, and God will make them promote you. And also we find out say some people that they do the same work, then get the same paper, then take them together at the same side, but they're not pay them the same salary. So that they make people then they vex back. So people, some man of the Greek work, some man of the work fine because they say, hey, this person I mean come on at college, now we get the same job, now we get the same position. But in the game, money pass me now because something now because it's a big person. So now some of them really made the president from this, so they established this Ministry of Public Administration and Political Affairs.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Kalon, and then we do appreciate you for the come where you come and for take your time for talk to Sierra Leoneans, then both home and abroad. I will tell you, say right now we get people the way they watch you from all over the world, America, and some of you scouted and don't begin count yourself, they don't begin comment. So now for lay, you just know say you have been watched and then you've been listened to. So again, like this, you not being deputy minister, and then you don't be a like minister now for that ministry there, and the responsibility don't, so like, because as to what you explain, so the responsibility look, well, I don't go say heavy, but at least you don't get more responsibility. So how you dey cope with those stuff?
Yeah, well, for let you get that kind of responsibility there, it means say the president don't look you and no say you go able to cope with that kind workload there. We may you then we don't born in the late 70s na Kabbalah, we don't want travel this country. Nobody no go tell we about what this kind of work then. We all don't see. We don't see the problem with the teachers then. We don't see the problem with the nurse people then. Then they can send nurse go in village. You know the agree go work there. You know they sit on there. And they pay our money, you know the agree serve the people there. You see the teachers then they say wanna go teach. No matter how little then they pay them, but they know the agree go teach the picking, they know the focus. Now the law then are the problem or waiting are the problems then. You go to the police, you go to the military, all them here will get problem. When you go to the office system, for let them pass you paper. Paper will for take 2 days. It go there for 1 week. Paper will for take 1 hour. It go there for 1 month. All this and a problem. We see say deliverance. Government get fine programs then. All the government the way don't can they get fine programs then for the people then. But this particular people set of people who they work for government, they get what they call bureaucracy. That means then they make the things that the law then the things that way for make things then go fast, then they make them too slow. So we find out this now a big job, we're not easy because it don't take, it don't pass 30 years who the fed for change or for try for reform this public administration. But the president saying in wisdom for look at 4 things there, and I go name them. One, he said, first of all, let we know waiting the happen with we law and within at this country. We all know say constitutional review deep and gone. And then don't begin do so a lot of Boku don't go to parliament. So they will then wait and get for go through referendum when they call them statutory bodies and threat clauses. So, but some of them laws they will get problem with the 90 make because at the global stage you get Boku law then don't change because of the kind way the world don't go. Technology, digitalization, the world don't become a global village. People there now they do Boku things that we don't different. But we still not change some of them with law they are there and still they the world in 1960. So for can't change their law, then it's not easy. But also, you remember you talk again about the behavior of people, then the behavior pattern. So man, they say our government business not to better business. So with all that kind of thinking that you go find out, say now you get for be difficult. But one thing we I strongly believe is how do we approach that kind of issue there? Now vex to the camp for can vex, now fair to the camp for can fair, or the use processes and procedures for make sure say we effect the change and make the reforms them so that we will get a workforce in this country who will deliver on the mandate of the people then and make the people then gladly. So for me, I cope up, it's not easy because even while she goes to write, I know the sleep because I get for look at a lot of the laws that within the country, I get for look at the policies them. And they look at the performance appraisal, the document they use for promote people them, for transfer them, and they look at the database where you go to HRMO, the human resource management, you go there, at this one green Sorimara, for example, in biodata, in date of birth, they different. You go to NASIT, this same Sorimara, in date of birth different. You go to the civil registration, civil register, what they use for the or you go na neck. This same Sorimara in date of birth different. One green Sorimara get 3 different date of birth in 3 different people in 3 different places. So man not in this country again, they don't go out of this country, but he's still getting salary, the work, the work, but he's still getting salary. So man don't reach for retire, but because if you don't go changing HRA, then HRMO, then they say right now 45 years, but you don't pass 70 years. For work for go work self-enabled again, but it's still the 45 years. They're not going to retire because the documents they get for them say it's still the 45 years. So it's a huge responsibility, but we go able to cope with them because one thing we are assured is the fact that we get a very strong political will. The president is determined for make this change. The president is determined for let do the reforms there. And we know say we get the international body, we also don't ready for support, we for make sure say we effect and change there and bring this country to a place wherein person no need forget job by Uda Sabi, but if you get job by what you Sabi. So we cope up without the pressure and we sure say we'll be able to deliver by God in power.
Okay, thank you so much. Fambulem, I still want for remind una say this na the then and now media empire. And then as always, as we can do all the time, we dey bring people them, we dey bring stakeholders, we dey bring Sierra Leoneans, ministers, civil societies, and all shades of opinion na this platform here. We dey talk to people them about national issues. Like today, we not say yeri because like the especially the aspect of public administration. Well, I no go say people they not be no bottom, but at least we don't bring the minister for explain to una waiting that aspect they day for. And now una say self yeri, so we dey appeal to una make una continue for share the links to as many people as una can. So, Mr. Kalon, why you feel say, like for example, you feel say you go able to carry this load here?
Thank you very much, Mr. Barry. Well, you know, we mama and papa them, you may know will be small. Me like me and mama be the sell of fish, they sell pepper and maggi, would go na dogolia, would go there now go sleep na the school, would go and bug them, mammy, would go fair, then would go fair wood. Mama them, papa them suffer for them get education. And the education where they make will get now for them can face change to people there. So for me, that's one of the things where I believe say go make we able because some of we go get to education, we suffer for it. We not come for them can be mediocre. We come for them can make change because if we not make the change in this country, no other country not go be good for we. Sierra Leone is the best. We can make here America. And so just the determination when me get the passion what I get, the love what I get from a country, don't enough for give me the hope for say we are going to we will succeed. But more importantly, as I say, we have the political will. The president and self-ready say we need for make this change. We need for reform. We need for give with people them the good things them way they want. And the people the way they give them things them for ready for do them, no matter what the circumstances. And also it has to do with also the capacity we'll get. Trust me, my dear brother, the civil service, the public will get very strong personalities and they will then get very good capacity. All what you need now motivation. And that part of the motivation is the wage, this compensation, how they motivate people. If somebody don't do good work, who five the work, one part we do the best. How do we motivate and how they compensate and for that, say if we do more and able motivate the other, then for that they do the other portion they do. So those compensation packages, them performance appraisal. What you get for doing charge of performance appraisal? How we get for say this person they do well, this other person not they do well? How we get for measure there? Whose system of monitoring, whose system of evaluations we get for put for make sure say people they know say that they judge them, but not by waiting them sabi, but waiting them they give to society. Those are very, very key. The laws the world don't put way for make motive. For example, we woman get belly, they don't born in Pekin. We call it to call maternity leave. We go give them maternity leave them. Papa we himself in where don't born. We need for the woman for take care. We give paternity leave. Those kind leave with the give them people then they work in environment. How we will make sure they work in environment they're conducive for people them for make sure they give them best. The laws then within they how we will make sure we reform them laws then they for comply with international best practices. So as I say, we get a very strong political will. We get the capacity. We get people that we don't ready for CIDA. I don't get people that already don't volunteer themselves. Then say, you know what, Mr. Kalon, this not a huge responsibility with a young man like you. But we see the passion, we see the love what you get. We are coming in. We can't volunteer. We just support you. I don't work at the international level. I get a lot of friends where I don't make. They are ready to come and support them, can with them capacity them, put them at with disposal for them make sure we do then thing there. Another person at win heart, no, we don't do most of the work. NCRA don't do a very good work. They don't register all Sierra Leoneans there. Then get that data there. We just need for look at the NCRA data. We look at the NASIP data. We look at the HRMO data. we see how we're able to harmonize them and come out with one bio identity. Where any way going to this country, as you put down, as you enter that identity, they're not go ask you name, they don't want to know your name. Now that identity enjoy the same. Like inside the United States, the way we go to America, they call that the social security number. But yeah, we get PIN code, we get NACIT number. Now don't get the NIN number. Which one we go use? All get different information. We get for harmonize them. Government will also try. We don't get the Ministry of Digitalization and Technology. We get huge resources now for support for digitalize the system. If you go to Boko office, then an Excel sheet no more or empty paper, and then they go say, look the people them where then they work here. How do we make sure we digitalize the system? We do an assessment, no other than they inside the service, so that we digitalize them and give them a number. How do we reform the laws then? These are the things they can for the wages, compensation, wages, salaries, and compensation commission. They don't pass on through a parliament in the last government in the last 5 years. Now we need for constitute that body, that commission there. Bring the people then together for let them start for look at the salary variation across the civil and public service and use the data what they get from NCR. We don't clean that data, they don't harmonize, they don't get one identity, we don't know Uda with one information. We will give that data there to the commission and let them look at Uda. If you're a master soldier, you get this position. That man said a master do they get this position. How then salary go for the how get for harmonize so that nobody not go see in company like saying company get salary pass the work person. So we get a very strong support. The people in this country they know about it. That was this thing a new thing to them. Everybody know where the issues then they and people then determine. So with the people then determination, with the political will, with the things that we don't already do before this time, we know here we are going to deliver on this.
Okay, thank you so much for that. And also, when you talk about the civil service, like what in the kind of the mind of people now related in the say corruption na the endemic is done. So you don't talk about so many reforms where at least they try for bring in order for put things then straight. Like you don't cite example like somebody they way go don't pass retirement age or you don't reach for retire, but the age where them put there now just what is it. So how you feel say you go able to overcome this corruption first na the civil service, now the permanent secretary there, and then side and day. What strategies that you don't put in place?
Well, so just like I say, this not to me want to do this work. We get for do a lot of partnership, we get for work with other institutions, then for make sure so we do the things we right. Like I say, yeah, somebody don't read the retirement age, but because you will look, I know see this person don't pass 60 years, but we're going document it 45 years. You know, then I come on, we get for use common sense of them. The issue of corruption, that's why we have the anti-corruption. We are going to bring them come inside. Let we work together. Not of they can't hold person, but let we sit there and talk with people. If you get 3 different dates of birth, how can we sit and make sure we harmonize them? Tell me which one. Look, you say go look yourself. We say go look you, not say no, but you know 45 years. You know 45 years again, you don't pass 60 years. We can do that, and I make the form lot of institutions. The way we can work parallel with for make sure we deliver on them thing there. Corruption is endemic. We know that day. We know say there's a lot of problem. But until you clean the system, you know who that then really they inside the system. For example, look what they don't do now the teaching commission. For the first time in this country, by December, we don't know say about 860 teachers they don't reach retirement age. It never happen in this country for letting them tell you say now this amount of teachers there. Because by the tell them they say they don't 6 months for them retire, they don't go change their date of birth. But because they don't digitalize the system, just last month, they don't announce about they say 860 teachers, they don't reach the rate of the system don't already flag them out for say they don't reach the retirement age. So it make it simple because they don't already set the system. So this is what to do around. So we will fight corruption. Digitalization is a very interesting tool we'll get for use for make sure we will fight corruption. Because if me document and then I file, then at the shelf, I can go pay somebody for them, we go put me file, I go change my birth certificate, I can put on there. But the good thing about it, the civil registration under NCRA, They don't come out with a but we see the other not able to change your data again. What in they did 9 days now? Nobody not able to change it again. And where you go for what take from now, they for don't for the past 6 months, where you go for what take a birth certificate. No, you go to your NIN number. If you don't get NIN number, you don't get birth certificate. You know they get them at all. So meaning now people they're not able to change birth certificate again. People are not able to change passport again. We don't wait with it also meaning for the past 5 years, we don't already did the platform for address this issue. What we did now for bring all the players them together, we all agree say, okay, now these are the data all they use. Like, can we go and can we go with it? So already the fight don't the reforms don't begin take place. For them make people enforce for no say you don't go to change your birth certificate, you don't go to change your date of birth again. Because what in there civil registry. Now even me, where I go for go take me where I go for go renew my driver's license. Then if you ask me for my birth of date of birth, they not ask me for then just say give me your NIN number, your NIN number from civil register. As again, so then produce all my information. So I no need for go even lie again. Why to go for go renew me passport? They not ask me, then just say give me your NIN number. I enter. I would enter. I don't get me though. Why go for go get me national ID card and my ECOWAS ID card. No, they're not asking me, just ask me for my NIN number. And with the input the data already, then send the data, yes, don't. You know, they will change it, you know, get other authority there because the digitalization again as on side, we not to one green, not to any jack and Jill to go no more for go interfere with them. You get a system of protection, multiple layers of protection, where somebody not go inside no more, go change that. So this is how we are. This is some of the tools that we'll get for you for make sure so we do these changes, and we are on it. We shall say with God God being our helper. This is not for we. This is not for Mother Bill. This is for this country. The amount of money where they go on wages, when you look at the wage bill don't so high. But when you look at the delivery, the services all they provide, enough commensurate to the amount of money we pay people then. So we need to go back and ask ourselves, what kind of system do we want? And we don't begin now. The civil register, it don't claim. Now just they roll out no more now. Then don't form the commission. The commission is now ready. The Ministry of Digitalization and Technology, then don't establish them. When I then get for can for do this work. The people who can do the assessment, they're already here. The APRM, the African Peer Review Mechanism of the African Union, they're not ready for can do the your assessment. We are looking at other institutions, they're ready for can do the your assessment. But look at the laws them, the books them, the legal instrument them, what then they use for transfer people there, what then they use for recruit people there, what then they use for promote people there, what then they use for retain people there, what then they use for tell people there whether what they do is correct or not correct, what then call performance appraisal. Then document they'll get for look at them one by one and do all the reviews, do and so on, and then send they'll get for candle.
Okay, thank you so much. Fambulem again, I just want for remind you now this now the then and now media empire. Today we deal with the Minister of Public Administration and Political Affairs, when Honorable Amara Kalon. Okay, Mr. Kalon, and people lot of people like in the past and the present, people and they accuse government them then two political party, because if we not get APC and SFPP, they na power. If we get SFPP as opposition na APC, then they accuse each other for say, okay, when they were come, then they hunt the people them where they perceive say, okay, these are members of the opposition. So who's guarantee una go give Sierra Leoneans and say, okay, they una method their own they use for say for clean the system and other thing, they una no go disadvantage people them where una perceive or where they go perceive say now sympathizers or members of the opposition. Who's guarantee una go give Sierra Leoneans and say that no get for happen?
So thank you very much. This is a very interesting topic where normally we can come. It can very interesting. You know, Jolly can tell you, we get the civil service. Yeah, the civil service, the law they wouldn't they did not allow you for they change somebody and play. Mr. Barry, with everything, the civil service law there, you know they can't pull somebody no more. If not that, if it's easy for pull people in at the civil service, like a lot of Boku permanent secretaries, them for don't shack them. I don't work with 4 permanent secretaries there in my 5 years as deputy minister. We'll get problem with them. We just therefore we say, okay, una make them transfer them. Because the laws the way they for shark somebody in the civil service. So what people then can say don't shark people in the civil service, I can just laugh. For shark somebody in the civil service, it take 3-4 years now they pandaya body for shark that person. So it's not just easy. Now, who side then can say then shark people or then put people in power? Now the public service. Because the public service, most of them are contract than they own. Most of them, then face them can work for specific time. So then a political appointment now then give them. So people that they miss these two different public service, although some public service people and they again where they also then they get age bracket we now through until retirement. But most public servant them then they on contract. Even the military now on contract then they after every 5 years then they renew them contract there. If then see say you because of your health, I make them they do a lot of things then for make sure say the police. Yeah, even teachers them they get certain way then they do assessment. Yeah, but political appointees is based upon the prerogative of the president. When they appoint, when president they appoint you politically, then get for pull it back politically. That's the fact. If they change leadership, the new leader who can say, no, not to maybe appoint you. I don't want you again. Go and defend other person. And then people then can say they can shock people then. We get for be clear of this. Moving forward, we get for assure people and say the change is what they take. Oh, they have to change. They're not the kind for can pull people in power. Or the kind for can look at the data and see the for make sure say somebody get one identity. Me brother, you know, when you go some we don't get problems in out of this country. We'll get brothers them, then they go with passports them. We go this passport in American embassy, it go they not get visa. It they come, it change the passport, it go change in identities there, it go back. So Salon be done lost with integrity at the global stage. Many countries they not be one for doing it to Israel because they say we information they're not correct. So it did even where you want to apply for university, you know how you struggle for we want to apply at university level for them to assert and say this you information because some right now it don't change in date of birth then you know if you remember the right one again. So we apply. Sometimes they even forget what we give. We go for interview. Sometimes I different again. The DV, what simple DV, what people then they play. Where then go then give them date of birth. Where then win the DV, they go now for let them go do them processes for let them give them visa. Then they will remember that date of birth again because it's not consistent. And we get for open the space. Whether they don't read the age for retire, let them open the space. Now 22% of government in budget now they go for education. So for support young people, for let them land book. Where they come on at college, you don't get place for put them. What if they do? Then they go smoke kush because the system clog. People them they don't reach retirement, they're not able to go because they don't change their birth certificate, them boku ten. And the information where they now no more you go use. So we get for open up the space so that we bring young people and can where they get life, where they get spirit, where they get energy. Una de obayanda, una don't go land book, una one can support the nation, but una the civil service is not attractive. How do we make it attractive so that we get the best professional therefore can serve this nation and make sure say the people that will make Sierra Leone with America? It not to magic. Some people have to make this sacrifice, and I make some of we can wait and give me the assignment. I was just like, wow. I don't work at the civil service. I work there for 12 years. I work at Minister of Agriculture as civil servant. I rise from enumerator to senior planning and budgeting officer. Before I left, I go private. I don't work at the private sector. I don't work with UN systems before I can be minister. So that's a new thing to me. I've been inside it. I don't be part in 2010 as 2008. Me lead the team when me wait and say we for able to find ghost workers in the Ministry of Agriculture. I work at this country for make sure say every staff na Minister of Agriculture, as you Koju, you count your identity and no see you are register you. We don't do all them things in this. So we don't be part of it. We get the institutional memory. So not they can shack somebody. And one for assure people say they're not the shack nobody. But if you don't reach retirement age, the young people are still waiting. 62% of our population are young people. 51% of our population are women there. If we left handed in our street, you just said you see the videos then about Kush, how they destroy young people are getting frustrated because jobs are not there. Then they come on at the university, the system don't clog. How do we do this? This is not the responsibility we get for carry. And we get for face the reality that no, this is not about politics any longer. Who brother they want come out abroad, they want come for they want come home back, they want come sit down and enjoy then cassava leaf, then Benny, then Lafidi. But they cannot come because the system don't clog.
Okay, thank you so much for that. And also, I would like for bring you back na the civil service. So you don't explain more. We get for come for make you really make them clear. You explain to fumble them, make them know because you don't like you rightly say. People like can mix up then to the public service and the civil service. So, well, any sack we then sack somebody or we they replace them, then go say they don't sack them because of XYZ. But now you say in your submission that it's difficult for them to sack a civil servant. So just take me through some of the steps them where person they go through in order for succeed for sack somebody or for remove them. What are the challenges? What are the stages where they pass?
So first of all, the only way somebody left the civil service now where retirement age. That
Okay.
not the how go say the rule of thumb. Where na the roots than the process. You recruit them, you face and kind side, you take in date of birth, then at the age of 60 years, the person retire and you allow him for them go rest and take care of himself. But wherein you get a case wherein something come up, somebody go against the rules of procedure, what we call the rules of engagement.
Mhm.
So they get lay down principles, procedures, and processes, protocols, codes. You go against them. First of all, then get for right officially. Somebody get for right officially for report the matter to the HRMO. HRMO get for look that letter and reply to you and say, we don't receive this. Now they ask for let them count the evidences. You get for put your evidences together for justify what in you put now the complaint. When you send you evidence them, then they take the evidence and they then come back for can begin look one by one if those evidences get facts. If the facts are there for justify the evidences, then we don't submit. That process is not to 1 day, not to 2 days deal. You get for take time because what about if then say you go kill somebody or you go cause somebody or you not agree follow due procedures or sometimes you go do for example then say you go pan political rally then sue then you go pan what you go prove say you go pan political rally we not civil service the law say enough for the pan politics for sure yourself openly pan politics. So then get for come up with them, then get for line up the evidences then they. And until these evidences have the facts for give you enough justification, then the team they submit their report. Then they get a board where they sit down now at the HRMO and review all the processes for make themselves get concurrence. Then they not to 1 day, not to 2 days, not to 1 week, not to 2 weeks, not to 3 weeks again. No. Then get for day pandande. And until then, self able clarify and justify say the evidence before them holds true on the accusation where they make against that person. Then they constitute a body now, what the sit invite you, the individual, for that you can now, like a simple court for putting, say, okay, now this is them put before you. What justification do you have? Then therefore go through that process back and forth until then self clear. Then the right official is here. There is enough evidence against this person. Wait for justify for say A, B, and C action need to be taken. And in not necessarily mission enjoy the shaky, if it say them for warn you, then for warn you. If then say then for suspend you, then for suspend you without pay. If then for send you on leave without pay, then send you. So not to only shack, but there are other alternatives where they for address the issue based upon the gravity of the evidence and the fact they would before the person, then I think go make officially then write you like letter say we are sorry, we cannot keep you in this system because of A, B, and C.
Okay, thank you so much for this because I believe say this is very important. So now I make more with a delve into RAM. So what are the offenses where really a civil servant they commit where go make them sack am? That not a suspension or like na sack straight.
Embezzlement.
Okay.
Embezzlement of government fund, when a corruption. any form of corruption that constitutes a crime with the evidence and the facts, then they shack you. Even that, they know they shack you instant. No, you have to go through court. Because the court therefore proves say yes, you embezzle funds or you convert funds, you kill person, you know, or you disorderly behavior, you know. Those are so the format and just pull you so no more. The crime therefore get some evidence, you get forget some weight. That's why I tell you, say then get different punishment of they go based upon the gravity of the matter. But one of the major thing where they make them they shock people them when even that they no one they shock somebody instanta. Although it don't be precedents don't take place, few, but it's difficult, and that is corruption. Blatant corruption where you don't need for going to court for provide the evidence. The evidence are already there. You kill somebody and then find out yes, you kill this person. You know, those are the things then where I believe say they constitute a crime we go make them shock instanta.
Okay, thank you so much. Fambul them, I just want for remind una say this na Psycho John Barry, live from the UK. Today we deal with Honorable Amara Kalon, the Minister of Public Administration and Political Affairs. So he explained to me about the ministry, whose work then they do they, and then like renting in this. So still we dey na the civil service. Mr. Kalon, also a lot of people then they say, okay, some man, because then they accuse some man, say, okay, no, he mixed from politics. But when he can during politics, would they see again if let's say a civil servant when a ruling party supporter, he himself the part of rally, he wear polo, but then king really disciplined and they them back, despite
Yeah, well, the civil service code,
Mhm,
the civil service code, and some of the public service codes there
mhm,
make provision for say we give how I go say, allow you for let you publicly display your political affiliation. Maybe ma find way for put and correct so that I'll be clear on this. Yeah,
mhm.
we all are political animal.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm,
and what time reach for vote to once you don't reach the age of 18 years,
mhm,
you do go vote.
mhm,
So that makes us a political animal, but that not make the accuse you for being a politician.
mhm,
Because now we who don't reach the age of 18 and above, they determine the person where they can rule with or for
mhm,
can lead with. Yeah,
mhm,
so that not make you a politician. But what make you a politician? Now where you decide for can publicly, and not only when I say publicly, but you have the clear evidence. You put on a dress where they indicate you support for an individual or a political party. So I can come out now though, then they can rally, I come out, at the worker, that not constitute me supporting a politician. So then at the music I dey enjoy, and I make I go and dance in the street.
mhm.
Hello? You
Yeah.
don't understand, eh?
Mhm,
Or something I don't see me paddy, I just want to go rub skin with a normal. Or you go meet me in a bar, sit down with people them, who they can celebrate, and they and always and that they for identify me. So there is clause in the law, in the civil service code or the public service code, we give a description of an offense of going out public politically, and that is has to do with the dress. So if I wear Mother Bio in clothes, in picture, they then say vote for Mother Bio, they then put the SLPP or the APC symbol pana in the red with Sabura Kamara in picture. They out here at the campaign or at the jump and gladdy. There is an identity. There is an identity we don't already give you clear. And that constitutes also the evidence, the fact. I don't see this person, but you can't explain to me what is the evidence who you get for sure say you see this person, the picture, the video, where? So it's not only for say, I see this person they dance. When you go down Facebook, man, because we don't become media freak. We don't become social media freak. People they don't become so much accustomed and freak with social media that then they even forget, say, this picture why they can't put on, I not put on our Facebook. Oh. The whole world is here. So some of their evidence here they come out. So this now constitutes a crime when somebody where the law say, for affiliate or associate yourself publicly, the word they are publicly, with a political party or individual in politics.
Okay, thank you so much for that clear explanation there about this whole thing about politics, where people then they say, well, then they witch hunt with people and blah blah blah. Okay, also again, the same civil service, then they tell you say how you don't politicize them. So how you go ensure say you depoliticize the civil service? It be a civil service where like somehow neutral and then wait there for really for serve the nation rather than be allegiance to political parties. How you they ensure that?
So I still go back to my original submission. It's not about me, it's about the rules.
Mhm.
Yeah, the codes them, some of them not all they're not any longer comply with international best practices. Me, say even the constitution of Sierra Leone get problem in 1991 constitution. The framers of that constitution beget something, the contextual framework what they used for writing 1991 constitution was premised upon a circumstance or situation or a thinking we fall short of the international best practices. So now we see, then we say we don't pull the public order, the part 5 of the Public Order Act, because in 1965, what they do that, and something went wrong, and then we want try for put a law way for make them get control of certain things. The death penalty. During that period, we get multiple coups and all that things where they happen across the world. Some of those rules where they inside the constitution, they are obsolete. They don't apply to best international practices. Yeah. So how do we let we control people, let we make people then comply, then go to the rules and make sure say the rules apply to present day. I don't know what did the rules say about, but if what about the rule be say, they say if they see somebody sell the giant in the street, it constitutes a crime for sure it's politically. What's not the evidence? For sure say that make blue clothes who are wear. I be the person on the street, mean say me na APC or SLPP. We have to go into the books. So not to we can enforce the law. We are putting the law in black and white and fan compliant, make sure say people then comply. We call performance appraisal. How do we identify people? How do we make sure say people then get motivated? Seku at the America last year, October, we then get the elections for the Senate and other people then. I went out with a colleague. Now I've been in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Philadelphia. We'll go out at the worker. It's not even tell like saying an election day. Although Pennsylvania, the election because so contextual and complex, but around the other side of Philadelphia, they will know say people they do an election because people they're not based then tomorrow on the outcome of the election. Because the system within America, the system within UK, already make sure say you forget you daily bread. You no need for know who, you no need for know somebody. You just need for know something. Wait for make you get a job. So that's the thing where we try for address here. That the laws then can day, but if the circumstances, the environment, where for make people, there many people go into politics because they feel say that's the only way we make them get a job. And so we all the crowd around political ideology and push their agenda. So when you see people in the fight, not to politics then they fight for, not to party then they fight for, not the individual interest. We don't get anything for do with politics. But then believe say the political platform now in them for use. So how do we first of all decongest that and make sure say we come with the laws them, we review the laws them so that people they're able get job. We open where somebody they come for car, somebody don't count in money na Sierra Leone for car invest. You don't need for take 6 months for register your business. In 48 hours, if you don't register your business, if you don't get a one-stop shop, we are in the possible can create job because the government is not a good investor. Government not even employ over 5% of the population. We need for strengthen the public, the private sector. And now we will strengthen the private sector. Now we'll make the investment environment so conducive for them. So that people that will come, will get foreign direct investment, can invest in this country, create jobs for people then. And when people then get job, nobody cares about election. People cares about voting and eat and not about election. But people cares about election and politics now because now the only means and office people and say they can make it in life. And that's the issue what they try for address. People then say, "We go get work." Then work not even see when they advertise work because they see people and they return at the system. How do we make sure that by the click of a button, I don't know, say 200 people and don't reach retirement age, then they retire this particular month. So let we put recruitment process. If we not get that system, they know how many people don't reach the retirement age because you don't get any database we go flag them out. We go give signal for say, hey, this August 31st, we get so amount of people that wouldn't reach retirement age. It's not there because the database not sit on one place. We not get database where sit on one place where we monitor them and with the give information at the click of a button. So that's why we put them procedure, we do their reforms, they are digitalize the system. Come with a single bio identifier. We harmonize the salaries. We rationalize the institutions them so that duplication of mandates and responsibilities. We make sure we clear than we review the legislations and the policies them. We strongly believe once we get that, they will get a very strong civic education. We can get there.
Okay, thank you so much. Fambulem again. I just want to remind una say we deal with Honorable Amara Kalon of the Ministry of Public Administration and Political Affairs. And then I appeal to una all una with the watch across the world for make una continue for share the links to as many people as una can. Okay, Mr. Kalon, you talked earlier on about the constitution, it been done all like okay, the reasons the why certain things them been done in the constitution, like they don't more or less they know they to international best practice. But would they see, for example, during the APC time, they been do then be review, I think Justice Kawan, but then be review the constitution, but like it just die, nothing not been happen, or then just cherry pick what they want. So again, the past SLPP, the past 5 years, then self no come okay say okay, you know what, this year they may not there were they may not just cherry pick, or they can put everything in place, then we because it's good for the country, then we can put them into referendum, then pass a new constitution. We not do that. So who's guarantee day for so say una self una serious for change the constitution?
Yeah, thank you very much. Rwanda, they do well presently in Africa because their constitution is not only based on complex international protocols and policies, but it hinge on their traditions and cultures. Mm-hmm. The UK, who say you did so, the America, you pull the culture and tradition of UK from their constitution, then they collapse. Because their constitution is based upon them cultures and traditions. If I don't get constitution, I hope they are correct.
Of course, yeah.
And that so they base their own politics and their own governance on their culture and traditions. Mm-hmm. When you go America, their constitution is hinged on the customs and traditions of America. But when you come to this other part, most of we constitutions, they are inherited constitutions from our colonial masters. They are inherited constitution from the thinking of the new colonialists. How do we make sure, see? Not because technical expert don't come with templates of constitution We then feel say now that way they then go come face them kind of day, and we just take a hook and sinker. No. It is time for, let we say, begin look at what is applicable in this part of the world. No one size fit all. No one size fit all. Some laws then way applicable in America now, applicable in Sierra Leone because of the circumstances, because of the environment, because of the thinking, because of the mindset, because of the complexities of things within there, because of the vulnerability and gullibility of society. That kind of education or the aid for, let you say, let we promote we laws and constitution to this particular level. So it becomes progressive. And that's why they say you review constitutions based upon the circumstances where they present themselves. So it not necessarily means say because Justice Gawan the last 10 years, then or 5 years, then do A, B, and C, then say that this will for do. It was a recommendation. The recommendation is subject to another thinking based upon the circumstances so don't apply. The issue of the death penalty was not part of the recommendation, but the death penalty is gone because we say nobody know for die. If somebody commits crime, punish and get a life imprisonment. But why if we go take somebody in life, would not to you get the life? We say let repeal part 5 of the public order. It was not part of the constitutional recommendation. But the president said, no, let leave it. If you know, say you're not a good leader, you do the things well. If they offend you, we're going to go on a court as a private person. But government not give you an attorney again for go represent you in a court because you're not minister or you're not president or you're not this. No. If you feel aggrieved, say somebody offend you by putting out information about you, which is not consistent with the truth, you're not a private man, go to the court. So this they tell you now, see, the environment or reach a point in time will not need for block sake again because it puts something at the public and that way business in your opinion. If I'm not satisfied with them, I take them up. If I'm not able, if I try for convince I not agree, I go to the court and prove say what in say could say was not correct. So we have to look at what applies in our country and take those ones for the time being and the circumstances and plug them into the system and we move on. As things then they unfold themselves, as the world they become more complex, if other changes then come again, we can make the changes because the world is dynamic. The world is not static. And so we're not able to change all things at the same time. It becomes progressive.
Okay, thank you so much. But what do you would tell family them who you go say, okay, we don't hear all what you dey talk, but we dey see say politicians them like again mostly it happen around the world, but especially in Africa. Some man where then come, then they try for change the laws. Some of them for extend their own time for the in governance, and then they just skew the laws them for favor them rather than like for national interest. So who's guarantee una go give Sierra Leoneans then say like then thing and they no get for happen na Sierra Leone?
Simple. If the political will not there, will not before repeal the death penalty. We all know, we all get the information. There is investigation going on about an attempted subversion of the state. Yeah. First be, now they talk about death penalty. We don't have it in our books again. So that now one for sure say yeah, there is a political will strong there for make sure say the laws them they're not fit individuals' interest, but then look at the circumstances both at the global stage and the culture and tradition. In Africa, we will say death, we then say they kill somebody. It's not like say we'll be small, we then say somebody don't die. You know that one whole for let's see the body self na problem. So for take somebody in life, it's not something where somebody just take up an decision pan kalu. It has to be determined. For there you pull the part 5 of the Public Order Act, we see the kind way then they attack personalities, then they discredit and destroy people. Then Lucky Dube say it takes 1 million people for build up your reputation. It takes just one stupid fool in 1 second for destroy all your reputation just by putting out there on the social media just one thing against you. Where the same people who read that information, for the same people who then get for read again, if that person decide for retract that statement, they don't destroy you for long. But then say no, let pull up. So there is a strong political will for let make sure the laws them where they come into this country, then fit into the circumstances and the environment we find we said. The Gender Act, we don't see. Women then inform 51% of this population. If you put 52% of this population, you don't give them nothing. You left them for let them go about them, say, empower them, put them at the center of decision making. They say educate a man, you educate one person, you educate a woman, you educate a nation. Then 52% of that population, they not get something where they protect them because they are vulnerable. That's why you have the Gender Act coming in. We are talking about the young people policies coming in because we have a youth bolt now in Sierra Leone. 61% of the population are young people. We don't ready for push. And when you not give them job, then they come back for hunt you. Then they come back. We see the push. We see the problems all they get because the young people, they never break the ceiling. They get a lot of energy. They get a lot of motivation, but they cannot put it into use because with the system clog. How do we make sure they don't lose them? So the laws, the way the constitution review will going to be based on the circumstances. And one for many people, they know say, we are going to do it as it is. Because at the end of the day, we'll not get no side for Gona, Salonia, or get for Gona. Somehow not feel, say, no go Buddhist alone, and the worry say, I go do constitution, we make a run away. We are going to be here. Me picking and dinner, yeah. Me wife dinner, yeah. Me fall safe, I not get no fall safe when a direct relationship. Wife for picking way out of this country. Look at us sitting here. For picking, I get the here with my wife. We should yeah. This election they come done. Normally they say pull it picking out of this, pull it picking them. I say we are going to be here. Let it picking them feel the heat. Let them know say this is Sierra Leone. If we get the opportunity for travel for go work in America, we'll go there, then go see the fine things, then and come back. So that it give me the zeal say anything once you do so, it give me pride. Sekuna, we all grow together. And they represent this generation. The generation also will all come out. Now they represent as ministers. So not to lock a get, not to book a land, but out of this many, we young generation, we grow up in the 70s, live together, do everything together, have been singled out by God for can serve in this capacity. And they represent on all in interest. Yes, some people then get their own different thinking, but me way Sidona, everything what they do is based on passion and representing a set of people, their own thinking and orientation. And we are going to do it for make sure say if we're not going to do everything, but we are going to lay the premise, we are going to lay the platform for make sure say the change we want is effective.
Okay, thank you so much. Mr. Minister, also we see the political atmosphere in Salon is toxic. So again, a divided nation no dey able move forward. Like even when they talk about like doing things, the laws, them way they meet with current needs them. I believe say we need everyone on board. Well, what you wanna go do for ensure say like at least wanna get Sierra Leoneans them irrespective of their shades or opinion, then they part of the reforms we una the dream of.
Yeah, so you get two ways for do reforms or review of laws and constitutions. One is the basic one, we not to entrench clauses, where you can just come up with a policy paper for review and act, you submit them to parliament, and the parliament constitute the body where the people then get the mandate for do that. So then can go do them. The second part we call them the entrenched clauses. That are things then where the only way we will be able to change them, not to even the representative of the people they will call member of parliament. But you have to go back to the people, the 7 million or the 3,000 or the 3 million people, then were 2 million people that will constitute the voting age. Now Sierra Leone, wave that they go back to and then vote like how they vote for minister, for member of parliament and president, who call referendum. Those are the two ways the way they change laws them in the constitution. And so the people, By default, they can be represented by the representative in parliament, or they represent themselves by a one vote. So meaning they are already inside. But most importantly is how do we communicate and inform the people and take them along? And that is a very strong civic education and civic orientation we need. So we are going to invest. That's why we have now a Ministry of Information and Civic Education. It used to be Ministry of Information and Communication. Civic education used to be under my own ministry, the previous Ministry of Political and Public Affairs. Now, civic education don't go alongside with information, because information, civic education is about information. So any information where you give out to the public on government is civic education. So we are going to invest in that, because when you take the people along, you provide the information for the people and they will make the right decision. One way people can stifle people and decision making now for deprive them of access to information. But we are going to make sure say the information is out there, the people then get them, and if then they go into a referendum, they are going to vote based upon their understanding of waiting they put before them.
Okay, thank you so much. But before then go take anything, let's say any reform, before we go to parliament, at least there should be some people like government officials, like, okay, una forget the various shades of opinion from whether ruling and opposition parties and other civil societies, and then in the how una get for ensure say denting and they actually happen, all shades of opinion then be represented. I they repeat this question because I they see would they follow the division where they that the country.
Okay, thank you very much. You know the even the election, not to the 7 million or 7.5 million people na salon the vote. Now a representative of the people that went already the age of 18. We're going to parliament now, just 134, 132, 100 something people in a parliament. They represent the views of 8 million people. Now, the democracy, how they define the democracy. The voice of the people is represented by civil society organizations, by community-based organizations, and all the rest of it. So, waiting the governance across the world don't do now for cluster people them into ideologies and thinking and projections. So you have civil society organizations, they can see who they look at health. You have people who they come together and constitute where they look at education, where they look at human rights. So you have those clusters of people who they come around an ideology and a thinking or a pathway. Yeah. So we are going to take even the Justice Gawan, everybody was involved. You have civil society representation, you have people from different, about 100 people will constitute the body, will review the constitution and then present them. And now another body has been formed where they reduce and where they look at the recommendations and also make other recommendations. Now the stage of the reach so now what we call popularization of the recommendations of the Constitutional Review Committee. And then information dissemination therefore be very important. Now they therefore bring the civil society organizations there because they are representing the views of the people. And so then you give them the information, let them go down. You have community-based organization, we have radio, television, and all the rest of it. When we reach there, people then go see the kind of investment we're going to take place in information. Because at the end of the day, it's not about only changing the laws, but making people for understand the law so that once they don't change the law, people go get in compliance of the law.
Okay, thank you so much. Fambulem, still I want for remind una say una the watch the then and now media empire. Me na Psycho John Barry. Again today we deal with Honorable Amara Kalon, the Minister of Public Administration and then Political Affairs. Okay, Mr. Kalon. Also, we don't see recently the new cabinet. Of course, we see young people were really quite impressive. And then whose difference you say the young government, me they call and so because we don't see lots of young people, lots of women. Whose changes you feel say una go bring?
Come again, please.
Okay. I say recently we see the appointment of this new government or BO
Okay.
appointment. We see
Yeah.
lot of young blood, young
Mm.
people, including young women, and we see the increase of women back, even though we know say they don't pass that gender law. But
Mm.
whose difference you feel say these young people go come with na the country?
So, I can always as a researcher, I can always first of all develop my hypothesis and
Mhm,
build me submission on the hypothesis. Yeah,
mhm,
you have 52% of the population when are woman.
mhm,
Yeah,
mhm.
we have about 61% of population are young people then, and they are the center of decision making. Now then they play the role. The woman then, and then they take care of the picking, and the young boy then, and then they get energy, they get power, they don't get education. Yeah, and if any decision we they make without them is not a decision on their behalf. I hope so that's clear.
Mhm.
Any decision we they make for woman, then when the woman they know they are the center of that decision, it's not for the women. Any decision we they make for the young people, where the young people are not the center of that decision, it's not a decision for them. So you have to bring them on board. But bringing them on board is challenging them. Now then they don't challenge the woman then say, they don't say within a kitchen 50-50, all kind of group don't surface in this country for fed for woman emancipation, for bring them at the center of decision making. Now the platform has been created, the platform has been established. Let us go out there and show ourselves, because it's not about we where they appoint. If we fail, we don't fail the next generation of young people then. Meaning there is no need for the young people then that responsibility, because with all the noise where they make, they cannot deliver. So we are obliged, we are under oath, we are under pressure for let we make sure so we deliver on behalf of the other young people them, where their young future is hinged on we your output what they give in this particular assignment we don't give it. So we not get no excuse. That's why what you see some of we the talk now, yeah, because it is a must. We have to deliver, because for a very long time we don't blame the people we grandpa them, we papa them say they have not done anything. The salon is still the same salon, we understand. Every day people want to leave this country. Now we have the opportunity. We have been put at the center of decision making. Be you woman, be young people. It's not about Amara Kalon any longer. It's not about the SLPP and the APC. It's about regeneration. Sheku, if you see me at the go wrong, call me and tell me, say, slap, we talk. Tell me, say, hey, my friend, I want to talk to you. Send message to me. Let me call you. My friend, this thing what you do are not, correct. It's not in compliance with what we expect to have for do. Tell me in a very professional and civilized way. Not to go begin curse me and begin tell me say I dey lie. But what you do so, I not be expect you now rude boy. No, be very professional, be very civilized, and talk to me like your colleague in the language where I go understand best, so that I will know say I'm not representing my interest. I dey represent with all the interest. Because if we succeed, the next generation don't get an opportunity for them to serve. If we fail, they don't have an opportunity, and we go back to zero. So we are under obligation. So it's not about whether we go say what's not the guarantee. The guarantee is we are under obligation for deliver, because we have been given the opportunity for represent 62% of the population and 51% of the population. So we are under obligation.
Okay, thank you so much. We really appreciate you for the time where you don't take, and then we know say you don't like we no go take you time much now with the come, they take again with the can end the program. But I just want for remind Fambul them say this na Honorable Amara Kalon, the Minister of Public Administration and Political Affairs. So I want to take you again to the okay, we get the civil the civil service and the public service. So we dey see now, like we have been the talk say okay, some people them na the public service we get political appointment or contract, we really then na then king most times we then contract they know they renew them, or like okay, or then can sack some of them if then what say. But now we dey see some man dem be like dem mandate, like dem get a mandate for say okay, dem for serve a term, dem get a term, but we dey see dem dey remove dem from office before dem term. So how una dey ensure say those people like next time den thing dem dey no go happen, or for una to protect every Sierra Leonean?
Yeah, thank you very much. It's a very interesting one. People then get a term. You know, every contract gets a term.
Mm-hmm.
Either before until you retire,
Mm-hmm.
or then say a renewable
Mm-hmm.
after A, B, and C years or that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And there is always a clause. Once it's a political appointment with on contract, there is always a clause of it. For example, let's take the typical example, the bank governor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The bank governor say the bank governor for 5 years. Yeah. But
Mm-hmm.
if you see the bank governor not able to deliver on the premise or the mandate upon which he was appointed,
Mm-hmm.
you can pay him off. Yeah. So it clear. If now 5 years you take him for, if you don't serve for 3 years, you pay on the 2 years up front. Then you release him for let go. Because the most important thing na delivery, na service. You know the wait till until the person 5 years done, then you know say by the time the 5 years done, the grave then the Eboku people then don't suffer. So you know the wait for that. The second thing it has to do again when leadership change. Yeah, when leadership change, most jobs them, even in the America, you have about 10% of the population they lost their job because we government change. Because then can they as a purpose of the people the way come. Where then they go back. So then they retain them because of your performance. If you show, I get 2 or 3 examples in where I go give you when are people then when Mother Bio come, everybody know them say this now people they wouldn't belong to the APC, but they stay there and keep them they up to this moment. One self you say in a group with the one the way we publish one report just now about in feeling about the APC. I not go name here, but everybody knows in the APC, but then keep and they work there for the past 5 years. They work there for the past 5 years because it all depends on what you they represent. You they represent your interest or they represent an ideology or they represent the common interest of the people. So once the contract agreement, there are specifics within the contract agreement, those are the things that the way then they follow. So many people say don't shack this person when the termination no more with the C. But the procedures around the termination, wait for make sure say if you terminate the person in contract, what you for do for her, they're not can put that inside the document. So Mike say don't shack this person, this and that. Yes, because the contract gives say you can shack them based on A, B, and C. But there are other things where you get for the way that the contract they say you give for fulfill them thing them day. But although to they see your contract has been terminated now one A4 paper. But sometimes the processes and all the aftermath of the termination, so then over 10 pages, where they explain how them for relieve that possibility, how them for release her. But although to do that, what termination now can follow.
Mr. Kalon,
Yeah.
then can really respect the rules then they. For example, if then feel say okay, this person maybe it too political, they work in the interest of this government or the party where they in power, then remove
Mhm.
the person. Then can still
Mhm.
respect the person and pay them voting due am. They can
Yeah, why not? Yeah, I make you get right for go to court. That's why we get the labor court. You contract with it, they give you very, very clear. You forgot to court.
So for the
You
past
forgot to and for me, I not see anybody at where clauses then they would then say them for pay you, then terminate the contract, they not pay you. No. But if it happen or if it don't happen, then the person get the right for going to court because you already get the contract in hand. And you get right for go to court and let the God seek justice. Not just only say I not believe in the court, go and try it. Because now even the lawyer there, even you should understand. So the law is about perception. It's about how do you play with words? How do you change is to are? How do you change yesterday to today? How do you play with words? Now it will make you lose case or you win case. But the most important thing, you have to go to court. But unless otherwise, but I don't get a case it wherein somebody they say Then say if they terminate me contract, then for pay me, but they not pay me it, I not get that case date.
Okay, thank you so much, Minister Amara Kalon. We really appreciate you. And also, now we know say like you don't talk one thing, say you did like again people they represent a generation, especially we know say minister them like you are not being voted for now the president now in the now from your own wisdom they appoint una, but I will believe say they appoint people them again for represent, let's say, the country or the region. Like for example you, they appoint you from of course, you know, Kwenedugu man, Kwenedugu and now, okay, Kwenedugu and Falaba, right? Okay, so how, and you ministry the cover, let's say now for the whole country. So how you go bring development? How you go influence development for Kana, you district, for example, for show you people and say, okay, I am here, even though I'm not for the like, okay, I dey work for the country, but how you they contribute to development now you own district.
Very interesting, eh? Anyway, I go find a clean way for presenter. Yeah, one is how do I build a relationship from within? Yeah, no matter what, certain development them they are driven by connections. You get for go and lobby. So, for example, if I know say 7 water well they come for salon, and I know say Kwenadugo Falaba need one. And probably the criteria they don't set for distribute that 7 day to a greater or lesser extent, Kwenadugo and Falaba no qualify. But I have a relationship. How do I use that relationship to my advantage? That's why we then think that you build team, you build relationship with people. Not only say because me and this commoner we own district almost now we get for big party. No, within the system you build party because you get for influence. You get for influence. You get where would you go sit on a cabinet? Who sit on a meetings wherein decisions are make? You bring out justifications why make you feel say this for go, even though it enough for go day, but you bring that. That's why we are represented at the highest level. You sit there where decisions are made. So you have to have that relationship. You have to able bring the justifications. You have to make sure say you represent your people then well. We own personal resources and what they get also. If you feel say you can mobilize resources outside the political fence, for example, that's why we have corporate bodies, we have a private sector people, we have friends that will all go school and go college and don't be friends together, where they in places where there are resources. You go out, you mobilize those resources, you write contract, you write a project and influence, send them project, then they on behalf of the people of Kwenadugo and Falaba, you come out. So it's not only waiting government they do, because government you know go ever do, but we go beyond that for see how do we support. We own personal resources. How do we pull out of 10% of my salary every month I keep on for development? That's how I don't roll out development for the past 5 years. 10% of my salary is put aside for pay school college fees, for help people that wouldn't get buried, wouldn't get sickness, wouldn't don't go to university. I get inside the past 5 years, I get over 17 graduates and we are support fully. We don't graduate. We don't add to the human capital of Kwenadugo and Falaba district. We don't invest. I don't invest in little things. Me and my colleagues there. That because I mean 10% of my salary, I put aside, even though it's not enough, but I keep them because you don't know what thing for happen. People when they come every day, they don't count this person in emergency, they don't count this person at 34. We have to run there and go and make sure we support. We make sure say the little two give. This bearing the up we under our chop say for each not the how do you send one bag rest, you get forget to side the puller. So it's not so at the government level, we create partnership, we create relationship, we build concession. At the decision making, we provide the evidence, we provide the justification why the need for mover. At the personal level, we mobilize we own personal and other resources there for make sure we push and go before. So it's a complex web of methodologies who they use for make sure we drive those development them now we district them.
Okay, thank you so much for that, and you really explain and clearly. Okay, and also somebody because we get a lot of people them we don't send messages, and then somebody specifically they ask about Kwenadugu district that water project. He say what in una don't do for the water project, how far, what in they go on, when the people of Kwenadugu district they get the water.
Yeah, thank you very much. Already, thank God, me you village nani day. The way I work out, go Musaya. We all be know say where them be build the water well. Sorry, the water business, the road construction be done at Kavala. And during the process of the road construction, then cut boku pipe them. Then cut boku pipe them. So now, then we don't pay that money, they will come, we don't pay that money, they don't fix all the pipe them. But outside then go make the dam, one big local stick bit in our play. And when they make the dam, they not cut this local stick, then left her. So where this local stick for down, it broke the dam, part of the dam. It broke part of the dam when a huge destruction will cause. So pastor then get to come back and do another project for them make sure they go fix that particular, and then they honor them. We don't sign the contract. There was delay a little bit with the resources between in terms of compliance with the service provider and other things, but now it's kicking and moving, and by God being our helper, before in the next 6 months of dry season, people will get their water back in Kabbalah. You know, there are times from now to go there, you just need 10-20 minutes, you don't reach. And fine for themselves to go on the site there and go see for ourselves what's in the happen there. But work is going on, although the rains and they don't stop for us, but they are going to continue for make sure that we deliver. Because for we, light water is a priority. Once you get them to and good medical facilities in Kabbalah, they become a paradise for people there. Therefore, that are the first stage of development. And we are very sure about that for say those are going to happen within the shortest period.
Okay, thank you so much. And I believe say we come for try for end this program, but we really appreciate you so much. And then lastly, what do you get for tell Sierra Leoneans them, like especially regarding your ministry, and then how sure say you get for deliver, and you know then thing people then.
Yeah, I've always the wait for this question, and it's an opportunity for us to talk to people. That the change what the reforms what they do, you get two way they measure change. One is we call them the tangibles, when are the physical, quantitative. You go you count almost water well and don't dig, almost schools away and don't build, almost hospital and don't build, almost motor car and don't buy, almost kilometers of road. And they call them tangible. Those are physical things and way you see. So then them you as the leader you count them, you say, hey, this will don't deliver the other. But get what I call the intangible, the qualitative, meaning behavioral, people and behavioral change. And my own job what I get is about behavioral change. How people then they behave, how people they change their behavior over time. And you know they will mention within the shortest possible time. The results from million work what they do not going for even show in the next 1 or 2 years, probably part in the next 5 years. And that have to be with the behavioral pattern of people, the way they give them responsibility. Now they it is show. So you're not going for expecting you go see people then they put in a line say do they don't behave themselves, do they don't know. It's about the way they see the process. Who you come, you want go and the column. You want go what is your business? You want go register your business. If it take 6 months already, now it take maybe 3 days or 1 week. Then you know say behavioral pattern don't come inside. If you be trade, you come, you go for they get access to information become problem. But now when you go, you get access to the information. Then you know say behavioral pattern don't begin come inside. If you go now workplace, then are you building, you see people then students they do their job. You see paper then the flow. Digitalization don't take place. Then you know say behavioral pattern don't come inside. So this is how people get for evaluate me job. That's something that even after when we go down left office, then people then go begin see those things showing up because behavioral pattern are over time. Why then tangible saying for build road now you this way they put the culture, you this way they build the school, you this way they build the hospital. But more time and behavior, you know this way they change quickly. Now, adaptability, therefore, adapt over monitoring, evaluation, support, do appraisal. Then, before you begin to see people and behavior pattern, they change. So, it's not going to be a quick fix. It's going to be a sustained reform coupled with lot of communication, engagement, civil orientation. For the people they know say, while we dey talk with the civil servant, the public servant, then we self we own behavior towards society. How do we make sure say we not put pressure on politicians then for let them go be corrupt? Some of we they count ambiguous
But
demands then to
Mr.
politicians then.
Mr. Kalon,
Mhm.
we
Yeah,
don't see in the past again some people
yeah.
say, well, now the people well, ordinary citizens and they make politicians in the corrupt. We don't see some people let's say for example, you go na your ministry, would they see some people like now to line people in the to line from their own maybe party members or voting self, then they can relay for like some man they tell you say we dey go drag or we dey go greet the minister. And them people and they nobody know they go so empty. It must go with something. So then they put pressure upon the minister there. How or una don't really put anything in place for avoid anything and they or for reduce them or it is
Yeah.
not existing under the SAPP.
So, this is consistent with what they say.
Mm-hmm.
When we get a population we already know say opportunities then there for them, they know they go back for put pressure on a set of people the way they feel say now them they don't hold them hostage. And what we see over the period, decades, 3, 4 decades ago, is then people hold the nation hostage by political ideologies and make sure say then subject people them to then thinking and subject them to a way you know will get food for it if you not comply with what they tell you. So it has been set. Now it come back for haunt we, and it don't become so endemic that me not the better, they not the better. So some man they come, nothing no do, he say the doctor say I know well, I will pay 200,000 because one can pull on a hand. Because we don't create a political ideology over 30, 40-year lifespan. We say them people then for dependent on we so that we will give them instructions and then follow those instructions. So we have to change the pattern of delivery. So that's why we say let's roll out, let's feed the nation. Yeah, let's make sure we get good quality education. Let's invest in human capital. Let's invest in youth in good health facilities. Let's invest in digitalization. Let's reform the civil service. So if we can get these things right over time, then over time we will see there is a gradual reduction in this dependence syndrome, where people now no go depend on politicians. Because the truth about the matter is, the money when they pay me, by the time we month they done, they demand the letters. Then right now the letters they what I don't get, the demand they what I don't get. They're not even for the next 6 months. My salary not they even do for solve them problem then they. But that's how society was set. Because the only means now of survival is for have somebody where they know to get the resources and able to pull them down. But if we can create the environment for the people and get jobs, then we reduce that drastically. You cannot reduce it in any other way rather than creating the opportunities for people to go explore. And that's what we have to do. So we all out there. If you dey out na the global village yonder, you have an opportunity for can invest. Come and invest. Let we come back to this country. Let we can invest. It's not easy, but we have to do it because we cannot exist in another man's country for life. When you reach the 60 years, just know that country say we don't need you again. And you don't become a liability to them. Now they tell the package you find for physical and alone. Then when you come back, you can begin get problems. So let's start build the future. We only can do it. It's not about Amara being a politician. Something as sweet much talk at the Panaya, but it's about all of us. Let's converge. Let's bring our resources. If you see Amara, they do the wrong thing, tell me, not cost me, not alapa me, not fiti me, not try to go to public for show the public say yes, you sabi talk past me or you can molest me. No. Professionally and civilizedly, Mr. Kalon, but I would expect saying so and so and for, but what thing they happen? Let me explain to you, understand that you advise me. Let's come back home.
So
You
what you
cannot be
would
in
tell,
Sierra Leone.
what you would tell the people them back where you can say, well, some man, let's say for example, maybe now you camarang una bland play and laugh, but when they appoint somebody, you get small power, no more, you don't change. It become some people them quote unquote then say this person don't become arrogant, they listen. Then how then thing and they go reconcile with what you they talk say when you go wrong or somebody go wrong, call them and tell them how the two go reconcile.
Yeah, well, it depends. It depends on the human relationship and the premise upon which una build una relationship. I can always say that. Me and you with relationship, we can get differences in opinion, but we get a common platform without the meet. When you touch them triggers, then they get me attention. No, we can get it, but when you touch those triggers, you get me attention. And I have no alternative but to listen to you. You understand? So it depends on the level of engagement or maybe the procedure what you use for the engagement. Although some people then just naturally they are adamant, but no human, not the way indispensable. It must get in your own weakness, so you be able to drag them and get in attention. And that's how people for come inside. Look at the weakness. So I know say if you touch this person, it get you, it get your attention. They use that they professionally. Although some people, but for me, look, I'm here. We are talking. Mean a minister is just a status, like we say a cleaner, like when you say a carpenter or you say a director. It's a status defined by a job description. Other position, a cleaner also is a status based by job description. So it depends on what in how we able to create the environment for let people and get access to it. And access is very important because you don't know sometimes that person the information where they can give you will save your life tomorrow. But when you block the access, then you already don't block even your own life. That's why for me, I always believe say I go back to my people. I always go to Kabbalah. 1 week, 2 weeks, I don't go Kabbalah. I dey use Okada. I dey take Okada waka na Kabbalah to. I dey go na attack base, so then I buy food at the waka. 6 o'clock in the morning, I don't grab. I dey go exercise. I dey waka take go na my village Sokrala. Village to house, meet them and meet them young boy that we sit down, we talk. But let's also not forget that when somebody gets a responsibility like this, they to a lesser extent in interaction they reduce because not forget say now I get an assignment for take care of 7 million people. And not like they will be in a Kabbalah, all the morning we'll go sit down at our base, we sit down, we talk, we spend all the rest of the day. Now I have an assignment. So if I go Kabbalah for 2 days, you know we expect I will be able to talk to everybody. It's not possible. That not mean say I not care about people. That not mean say I detach myself from the things then what they do. If I be to go try that to go sit on at our base for 8 hours, this time I'm not going to go sit on at our base again for 8 hours. Yeah. Because automatically people then get for can see me and me who say keep me company. And you know go drive them for let them go. So if they're holding there for the rest of them, not mean say I no one come to you, but you say for understand. If you call me and not pick you call, that not mean say I not care about you. Try again. Probably that time way they call me, I on a meeting. Or probably that time the way they call me, phone not near me. Drop a message. You get some people who they call, it will call 10 times, but you know they drop a message. Drop a message and inform the person, say, but now this thing make a one for let me hear you talk. Because by the time why they left me phone 1 hour, I don't get over 10, 20, 30 calls. Who do I call at that particular period? So you look at the most, and me now, how me they operate. Now, would that send message to me? Now I know say this is critical because it already give me the reason why make a need for call you urgently. You get some people they call you don't get their phone number. Now you what things say. It's difficult because we get situation we are in. Somebody they call you Kosi Mama. We don't get any cases then they. You don't get some cases where somebody they call you not get the person in contact number. We call you. It just they hang the phone. And you precious time where you for use for do government work, it don't take them from you, it don't distract your attention, and you don't benefit anything from that call.
Okay.
So we have to look at all these things again, and it depends on how you say how mean I are the way they think then they. So it different from one person to another.
Okay, thank you so much. You mentioned something where you say feed the nation. Tell me about the agriculture project where this government don't decide say it will be the flagship? Because
So
you one of the thing then, like, again, where some people then be they say, well, why? Because of your experience in the agricultural field, some people then be they say, but why they not be make a minister of agriculture? And
yeah,
then again, but just tell we now waiting now the latest with regarding this agriculture, we una talk say this could be una flagship.
yeah. So already we know say there is Sierra Leone where they produce enough food. That's the truth. I don't work at the Ministry of Agriculture. And agricultural study. I spend my whole life in studying and doing working in agriculture. If we say we not produce food now, I don't lie by you.
Mhm,
But what have we not done is to create the enabling environment so that the food will be available in the market.
mhm,
That's our big problem. So people they produce rice, but because they not get market outside them, they not get the access to the closest market, then they move on. For example, when you go to the Cambia axis, huge amount of rice is being produced there, but now Guinea the benefit out of it. Falaba, if you go Kwendukura, the road from Limbaya to Kwendukura, now crazy road. How many bags of rice you go load inside motor we can take Limbaya, take come inside Kabalaton for can find the closest market. But 7 miles from Kwendukura, na the Guinea border, we find they take the rice there. The same thing at the Kailan, the same thing at them border countries there. So what do we do for make sure so we attract them, those food to the center so that the second thing is how do we go into processing? This is not raw material. We cook on the raw one and the same go so then a Ghana man and then India man and then Liban and they can buy them and carry and go make money out of it. We farmers they know the benefit. The country know the benefit from foreign exchange because we know they add value to it. Now the raw one will the same go out. You also look at cocoa, you look at the or even the oil, the palm oil, who they send out. Now don't get a company where they process palm oil now and send them out of the country because we know they add value to it. Now the raw one will they send out. And once you send the runner out, person they go process them, and put them into finished good, it send them for you back. You can buy at a higher price. But if you produce them for yourself, you process them for yourself, you brand them, you package them, you put them at the market, then you don't extend the business. And that's what the Minister of Agriculture don't go into now. Say, let's not only produce, but let's make sure say we go along the value chain. Let's produce, we process, we package, we brand, then we transport to market, and we attract the international market. So in the processing, we get to add value and look at the things that we constitute the international standard then for the things that we produce so that we will compete now the international market and get the required foreign exchange we need for able to reduce inflation and also reduce we increase with foreign exchange and but equally how do we make sure that the food available the rest of the kind of this country is low is of low grade but you know they have the kind of so the barabara we get it's a very good food we get food there but because we enable create the chain, we enable link the chain. I mean, the president said this particular 5 years, we'll look at the value chain exclusively and make sure that we invest along the value chain so that we get food available and food way affordable to the people there.
Okay, Mr. Minister.
If somebody the import in rest,
Mhm.
now what they can't tell you the price, and I import the import and another man and they make the farm. And that person they make profit out of the country. So if it's and can then get for sell at higher price because
Okay,
you get a lot of things to get for take into consideration.
yeah, Mr. Minister, thank you so much for this. I think this is another important topic. Now, like for example, I remember I do one short something a piece on that. Say, Sierra Leoneans them like when me and you been the grow up, we know say first now them worry then villages there they see basket of rice. People them in the work, then they store rice for rainy season or dry season. But now you dey find out say people they know they work or boku people they know they embark on agriculture again. So how this wetin na the government then scheme? Now government get for embark on farming or then they support corporate groups or how una they go about them?
Yeah, so I think the latter is not applicable now. We support corporate group. Government is not a good businessman.
Mm-hmm,
Yeah, anything where government give free, the people they send our politics.
mm-hmm.
And that's one of the major problems we'll get about service delivery. You bring fertilizer to people, them you give them, then say they have all this now we won't profit this from the politics, then take and they use them. But what in government they do? is for make sure say we support corporate bodies and make the farming attractive. Not forget, say the use of hoe and cutlass is no longer applicable in agriculture. No, now don't make we young people and don't run away from the farms and from the villages. Them don't can sit down at the city. Some man hold one box matches, the pass hold the seller.
But
Because
Mr. Kalon, but that time the hungry not been there back like now.
I agree, because the population back at that time they not be huge like I did so.
Okay.
Will not be done. Man's activities on earth not be done. Not be done deplete the natural resources they will get. Climate change not be there in play at that time. The forest was green and conserved. The swells them will not be able to don't destroy the forest. It will make and they call them erosion don't take place. Don't deplete the fertility of the swell. Yeah, at that time they will not be families were conservative. Will not be get these exotic values where people in the Canada city want live the luxury lives. They wear trousers that and they win alpha tobacco, alpha tilo, na they show and na dumper that inner tire. Na them they put inside as elastic. So we not be worried which kind of trousers you wear. But now we want to live the fashionable life. You want to get i14 Pro Max phone, which costs about $1,500. You don't even get money for buy 5,000 credits for put inside. So we want and don't become more than we need. So we don't move out of the comfort zones. Then with the canal, we don't begin put research under stress. So how do you make agriculture attractive to those people back for let them go back? How do you make it attractive? Now it's now about technology. Somebody go wearing fine jean, if wearing wine crepe, you don't put up in tractor, they drive in tractor. Yes, technology. So how do we make it attractive? How do we bring technology into play in agriculture so that the young people then see them as fashionable? In Zambia, Zimbabwe, they say they make agriculture sexy because they want to attract the young people then back into agriculture. So we need to create the environment based upon what thing we get. Society don't be good. The society don't go exotic. Exotic values, meaning foreign values, then don't overcome with cultures and tradition. We have no control over it. But how do we make sure so we fuse what thing we get into those cultures for attract people who go back to the farm? Agriculture, though, traditional, they say food be there everywhere. But now I know they because the people who for produce the food don't move inside the lights day. They don't move inside the water day. They don't move inside the fine motor car then day. They don't move inside the coal tar then day. All man they can for look for quick wins. Nobody is investing in the future. Everybody they invest for in today. How do we change that mindset? How do we make it attractive? Face the tractor, they face the power tillers, then face the solar dryers, then face the solar irrigation scheme, so that the person where it go, it bluff, he wearing fine clothes, he go to the place, he turn the pump, then irrigation take place. How do we face the energy car inside? How do we make sure that we cow the machine there for process the juice there? Look Kabbalah, the amount of mango the way they pour it. Those machines, then they're not over say they're expensive, then cheap, but we don't have energy. How do we make sure say we make energy available and people then go back? When lighting at any time, work the day, because people then they buy fan, people then they buy electric appliances, then bulb then is broke, cable then they burn, freezer then they pour. You need technicians then for do that day, and so people then they get job, people then they go land job. Because just light we don't come, they create so many opportunities for let people then get jobs. Because things then get for poor as a result of the light we don't go there, and people then get for fix there. That's how life day.
So how far the government don't go now with this agriculture for kickstart, because this now let's say now the life cable of the country.
Yeah, so that's why you have they already get a new minister. It don't as I tell you, she didn't have the field right now. Because all the documents they will need for agriculture, no new document, no new documents again as alone. We don't write all together for right. Now we transform those writings into practical things. How do we cluster those people, form them into corporate bodies, and put them under pressure for say if they give fertilizer, no go sell them to people who the plant jamba. If they give fertilizer, no sell care and go Guinea. User for the purpose for which it was meant. Government they provide the resources for make sure say we have the resources early so that we meet the planting demand of the planting season. Those are the questions we would ask ourselves now. Those are the things they will look at now. Agriculture is time bound. Now to inside April, where you and the farming season don't reach now, they tell you they go buy rest now, they go buy the seed rights for face and camp for can get the farmer. No. The seed rights for only from January. From now on, we don't begin get. We don't get now. Every district get we call out a machine ring. Every district gets another. Get amount like Kwenadu will get 10 tractors, we get 17 power tillers. Who's it on there now?
We know say this been happen during the first term. Whose
Yeah.
impact really then Tia been create in the lives of Sierra Leone?
Great impact. In fact, me now I'm one of the people who follow that particular project in Akabala religiously. And I will tell you that now we don't see an increase in the acreage under cultivation. We don't see an increase in the productivity and production per where they happen. We don't see now food availability. We don't see country rest day now in the market, though expensive because the road network and other things then where they happen around, cost of input and all the rest of it. But the tractors then they don't open up with people then. With people then now, don't they know say there is tractor. Outside 10% they work for 2 days, tractor they go work there for 1 hour. You pay a 1,200,000 or 1,300,000. But for the may get them 10 people and they for work for 10 days, you they spend over 10 million per them people and they for work because they get for buy food for them, get for buy cigarette for them, get for buy rum for them, you get for give them money when they go now the host. But now the tractor is about 1.2 to 1.5 million for 1 hectare. So they are available. What the major problem we get now is people are still looking for free. Now the major problem. People still feel say everything for be free. People don't want to pay. And so government they pay for the corporate one, they would already register with government. But you get some way say, we're not just get interest. Then just one for let them come, then walk, then say, okay, they can and give. Then even somehow then go then walk, then do everything. For let them even go pull grass on the farm, not problem. Grass will eat all the rest. Then when my government come back, he can't give them money for pay people then for go with the rest. For go with the rest. So it's a whole lot of complex of chains of things then we'll get for address.
Yeah, how we not go ensure that like again then corporate the formation of them cooperative, yeah, like okay, let's say if now government they coordinate that, they not politicize them because like salon back anything almost not politics. How we not go ensure that like it's really free from political affiliation or anything like that?
So interestingly, this particular ring machine project, not to government buy them, a private sector then bid for them. Then give them the machine then sign contract, say then would they pay government for them tractors they are on a reduced cost. So what in government we say, okay, initially we need for provide for una the customers so that una go start. So the first 2-3 years, government get corporate farmers, then we government say we go pay for them people there for a certain amount of hectares, we una go work for them, we go pay. So government do that and so then start a capital. So then give them the machines and start a capital for them so that they go begin pay, then go get money for buy the fuel, do maintenance and all the rest of it and start for pay government. So government get about 2 years grace period for them then begin pay. So now the private sector now in the drive this particular project and not to go, no government in hand, now no Ministry of Agriculture in hand. It's 100, for example, when I do go na Falabana Bob Jalo. 999 in company, now in the charge. Kwenadugu district, we get geo mining agri consortium. Now then get them. Then the machine then they employ young people them where they drive that particular project. And it's gradually people are getting used to it. Now people then don't begin I get used to them. It will take time, but we get for each day.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, lastly, little touch on because you say okay, at least improvement on the in terms of the agriculture then thing in the you say but the rest there because of the roads. But again, Wuna as government and Wuna deal no say. Let's say no matter how people they work na them farms them, if the road no good, they in a good status, and then the people are not going to move from one place to another. But recently, I've been read yesterday where the new minister of I think transport been the talk, be the try for make the nexus between the ministry they work and agriculture and how for what you say how una don't put in place for their roads and especially in the farming areas them, like the district them, which say farming they take place. What you
So
don't for make
so
sure.
for example, we get the free quality education in the last year. So every other institution, you add them, put the hand towards make sure say we support the free quality education. Now the same thing they happened with the feed salon. All they say Amara Kalon go reform the public service so that we'll be able to deliver. Make sure say we get a very good workforce. Now this country will be able to support the feed the nation. Minister of Works, what can you do for make sure say we support the feed the nation? Minister of Energy, what can you do? Now we get a lot of solar grid them across communities there now. Those are the reasons for support the agriculture. They don't give tax waiver to a lot of solar things the way they can at this country because they want for let them open and more people and get access to the NTND for support the feed the nation. So every institution they make sure say everything they do is focus on creating an environment so that agriculture will thrive. So it's a collective responsibility. That's why they call them the big five changes. Now be present 5 things: feed the nation, human capital, revamping the civil service, youth employment, because 62% of the population are young people. Then how do we bring them back to agriculture and also bring them come to the workforce who will deliver with the kind of energy we then get? We also they look at technology. The 5th big game changer is technology. How do we invest technology for support agriculture? So all those things are going side by. So everybody is we put we hands to the wheels for make sure say we feed this nation after the period we don't set for ourselves.
But we don't see almost a whole generation, if we not take time, it's been destroyed by this kush. What in una don't do for address this kush business na salon?
Yeah, my brother, there is a complex web of things that we're responsible for the young people and go to push. If we still do analysis, we'll spend time on it. You look at most of those people, their mama and papa, then the home sector don't become a failure. We have to see the realities. Me and you, we live with life na Kabbalah in the 70s and 80s up to the 90s. We're not going to the end in there. It not be rampant. Yeah. But things we are not, they ought to be get so not be getter. Would they go school, will not worry. Would they eat chorus will go. Not so. We go if I'm not the 6F. Because we eat chorus, then one my chopper and the fermentation don't take place, fine. You enjoy it. But now nobody know why it's chorus again. The needs, people their needs and aspiration don't higher than the available resources who they get in their hand. People want where $1,000 trusses. Where you where the UK and the way the support and I are not even able to get mind where $1,000 trusses. So we have to go back to two things. One, the home. What in the home don't do? Have the home been sincere to the generation? No. Mama and papa know they can't take 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the morning. That's why during the Ebola, we see where they say Sunday people they're not for work. We see a change, a behavioral pattern on people because they give people then time now for go spend 1 day with you picking them. Some people you not even see them picking them. If they grab 6 o'clock in the morning for go market or for go work, they can't take 9 o'clock. So he left the picking the sleep. Wake I made the picking the sleep. Behavioral pattern. It has to do again with we don't want and needs and we don't put. We don't put we want and before we need. We want so more things than that because we get frustrated. But equally, so the society itself, complex series of bureaucracies. People they come on at college, they not get job for do what their next way go do, they get frustrated, go sit down at the ghetto and file appear pressures. So we have to create the enabling environment. All those 3 factors therefore work concurrently for make sure to provide the environment. But the young people themselves, why you say, well, take drugs now and go make her forget. But the problem is still sitting there waiting for you. As you sober, so wake in the morning, as you turn the eyes, food no day for it. What have you done to change? Now, for go take the drugs, someone take the drugs. So society, they look at all them things they are. These are complex things there. It don't because you see what society they respond now. If you see some of the videos, they're very aggressive. Because society don't begin respond aggressively. But equally, so we see what happened at Kabbalah. The police, they don't start for raid. Because it's not about the one they take the kush, but the one who they sell the kush. We have to go after them. The one then where the import and come inside the country, we have to go after them. The one who they sell, we have to go after them.
Because that have been the try for ask. If, for example, let's say there are strong laws, especially if we now focus again to the one the way they bring them, and then like I believe say it will be easy for control. I don't go say done the one the way they consume them, but like if it available in the market, like definitely the one the way one for consumer and then go get them easily.
Yeah, tramadol is a banned drug. We all know that they say tramadol is a banned drug. Then they only use it on complex surgeries. Yeah. So many it is somewhere where somebody the provider. So that's why they say it's a complex chain of approach. The one the way they import, the one the way they sell the retail, the one then way they take them, the one then way they get the effect. It's a complex change of reactions we get for taking to. And I'm strongly believe say it don't become a national issue now. And they don't take them to the highest level. It don't become a national issue, and the Ministry of Internal Affairs don't already start for discuss that, for see how we go able to address that issue. But just like I say, it's not only by arrest or breaking those chains of delivery or the value chain, but it's also back taking, let us go back to the home. They're picking in a home, then come out. Most of them are from very good home, then come out. Trust me. Most of them then get homes the way they come out, then people then they. But when society fail those people, when I say society include the chain, the family, the home, the school, the institutions, the system, now they form, now they come together form the environment. Any one of them will fail in your own duty for do the needful, they get a complex reaction to the other one, they the part of the chain. And then they happen so. So we have to address that holistically.
Okay, we really appreciate you. You don't really try, and then we really appreciate you and fumble them really gladly for the effort where you don't take. And this will platform also we appreciate you. And then again, as we've been always the talk in the past, the platform now is Sierra Leonean platform. It open to all shades of opinion. So we really appreciate you. Thank you so much for coming. And then what do you get for tell Sierra Leoneans lastly before we left you?
So Sierra Leonean there is I know say everybody don't lose patience. We are not here we're not there with all the solutions to the problems. But we try for lay the premise so that successive government then will kind and build upon those promises and deliver on the tools, on the things and way we all want for they happen. It's not going to happen overnight. But the biggest elephant in the room is the behavioral change. First of all, we as Sierra Leoneans therefore be optimistic. Pessimism, they give way to weakness. We have to be optimistic. Let we believe say we can do it. America, they not sleep no more and wake America be what it be so. No. They went through a complex series of what we go through today so. And all is not well in those countries. So that means it depends on who you find yourself, how you apply yourself, how you create the systems, and how you become a critical thinker, then go make you survive. People that don't go to that country, then they become critical thinkers, then don't survive. Some though they're good and able to survive, they are struggling. Some man don't pull out. So we got to change with mindsets. Let we believe, say we can do it. Anything where you put your hand pa, do it the best way so that you get the result. If not to that, government can create the environment, but if you not take advantage of the environment where the government they create, it doesn't make any difference to you. A government say, let we make sure say if you able to get farm, go back and see how you go tap into those resources and go in a farm. If you feel say you get good idea pan electrical business, no shame for go for say, hey, me the girlfriend will get or society will say, but this is not electrician. No, it's about you. It's about your survival. We get for pull this issue of status from we. For say, me, I'm not going to do this kind of job. If the job now they go dirty yourself and do it. But we all want to take the white collar jobs, one way tie, go to office. That and everybody, I get over 20 to 30 CVs the way they don't come. Everybody wants a white-collar job. But there are lots of opportunities out there we will not exploit. One Nigerian guy then tell me, he say, Mr. Kalon, he say Salon a virgin ground for investment and business. He say everything in there. He say anything you touch, you invest in, and you say you get something. And look at they are flourishing at this country. See the amount of Lebanese, them, Indians, them, Nigerians, them, we don't come to this country, Chinese, them. They do small things that we will refuse for do. They are making money. Look them Guinean when they come, just for shoes, no more for polished shoes. Tell me how many Sierra Leoneans the way they see with the polish shoes now in Africa. Now they don't buy Honda, then bicycle Honda, then get shop, then don't get houses there. Now some of them don't become millionaires in this country. You have to start somewhere. Me and you start somewhere. We not just get by magic for dinner. So I want to say it's a behavioral change, your behavioral pattern is a mindset game change. Thank you very much.
Okay, that was Honorable Amara Kalon, the Minister for the Public Administration and Political Affairs. We thank you so much. And Fambulem, we thank una all the one in the comment box, and then all una we watch, we really appreciate una all. Until then, me na Saiku John, they say goodbye.
Thank